47 million to the UNICEF.
This country?
Yes.
To UNICEF?
To give us COVID-19 drugs. They provided some. What became outstanding, the auditors found, was 81.8 million Ghana cedis, dollars.
So will the money be refunded?
As we speak, UNICEF has not refunded the money. Neither have they supplied the COVID-19 drugs.
My guest is MP for South Dai, Roxy Nelson, Echi Kwame Dafiamekwa. That's how the Speaker of Parliament mentioned his name the last time. He's attempting to go to Parliament for the third time. He's also a member of the Public Accounts Committee, where, you know, a lot of the, if you like, financial malfeasance and, if you like, I'm trying to find my appropriate words to describe it, but a lot of the rot in our public institutions come up during the Public Accounts Committee hearings, and he's a member of that committee. Honorable, we've had Public Accounts Committee hearing for many years. Every time, wild allegations, financial impropriety from public servants, but it would appear that it just ends there, and year on year, the cases keep coming. How do we solve it? Do we need to empower the Public Accounts Committee to a certain level where they would have powers to direct people to be arrested and stuff like that?
That would be too much to ask of the committee.
Okay.
Because you see, by the tenor of the powers, prosecutorial powers inherent in the Attorney General in Article 88, the Attorney General is supposed to be the watchdog of the commission, against the commission of crime within the state. So the Attorney General is supposed to develop an octopus organ with arms reaching every nook and cranny, on the lookout for the commission or the attempt to commit or the post-commission of a crime and deal with it. Okay. If I were the Attorney General, the contents of the Auditor General's report will constitute my prima facie evidence to initiate prosecution against anybody or entity mentioned in it, especially after Parliament has interrogated the report and made some findings of fact and presented same on the floor of Parliament for adoption, for debate and adoption. Why? If you understand the processes of the audit, where the auditors will notify the entity, sometimes 4 weeks before arrival, to put your house in order. The auditors will come and stay on the average 4 weeks to look through the books depending on the size of the entity. When they are done, they do what they call the management conference. They meet with the management of the entity, the covered entity, and tell you the issues they have uncovered after the post-audit issues. The law mandates the covered entity to respond to those issues raised by the auditors within 30 days. So when you respond favorably to the issues, the auditors will drop their concerns,
okay,
and regularize them. So how are these done? A certain invoice couldn't be found for a certain transaction. If you're able to provide those invoices to justify that transaction within that 30 days, the query that the transaction was irregular will be dropped.
Okay.
These are the provisions, the procedure in law. But we don't do this. So when you don't respond favorably, the auditors will proceed to compile this auditor, what we call the Auditor General's report, and put you in it for that particular infraction and make the appropriate recommendations. So if anybody has a defense to the issues raised by the Auditor General, you have to be saying so in court. But you see that because of the laissez-faire attitude of the Attorney General in dealing with these matters expressly as they come out, the culprits, as it were, now have to appear before the Committee of Parliament and be justifying things that they ought to have justified before auditors. And for the sake of, so that the bureaucracy can be properly oiled and be effectively operated, we accept those justifications and prepare a report and submit to Parliament. So in other words, we regularize the irregularities that the Auditor General finds fault with and compiles them into this report. But not all. People who are truly guilty, they take steps to, if they took public money, they take steps to now pay back. So we are asking the Auditor General to now give us a report of those refunds that we are getting as a result of the work of the Public Accounts Committee.
Okay.
So as a member, it's a lot of pain for me that we need to redesign the legal framework regarding how the public accounts should work. In fact, I am one of the people who are saying that we should even have a prosecutorial subcommittee so that they will handle prosecution. Yes. Why? Pursuant to the powers articulated for the Attorney General. Now we have ECG having a prosecutorial department. ECG now prosecutes people who steal power. So by legislation we can do it. Parliament can enact a law and say that the Public Accounts Committee should have a prosecutorial committee with lawyers that when the issues come, they will prosecute you in court. It can be done. It's all about the law. When the law says it should be done, it can be done. Nobody should say that Parliament cannot prosecute.
Then push for it.
Yes, we are doing that. It's part of the reform. So now we are also asking for a budget act. You know, this time we don't have a budget act.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't have the Constitution says the budget should be prepared, but we don't have an enactment of Parliament that is devoted to how the budget is prepared.
Yeah.
Then two, if you look at the other transactions, when Parliament considers the report, there's supposed to be a post-audit follow-up monitoring as to how the recommendations are being followed up. That too is lacking. So the Public Accounts Committee is doing a lot. In fact, now we've caught up. We are now handling the 2022 report, which is about the most current because the 2023 has just been brought.
Yeah.
So as we speak, from Sunday, we'll be traveling to Tamale. We'll do 1 week there to handle all the issues from the northern sector. We don't want the entities to travel down south. Okay. We are cutting costs.
Okay.
So we'll go to them. Then we'll move to Sunyani and handle Ashanti, Bron, Ahafo, and Bron East. Is it Bron East or Bron North? Then we'll do Western and Western North.
Yeah.
All right. No, they will come back. When we come back, we'll go to Volta region, do Eastern, Greater Accra, Volta, and Uti.
Okay.
Then we'll go to the Western, we'll do Central, Western.
Oh, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. So
and
for
you
the
have to
next
do that
1
with
month,
your campaign and everything.
Those are the sacrifices. That's why you must be jostling.
Yeah.
You must be so sensitive to the issues in your backyard.
Yeah.
That's why 3 days ago she was at Spain, but I had to let her know that I needed to dash back.
Yeah.
To handle and the people appreciate that. They see that you are not indolent. You are neither lazy nor indolent.
Yeah.
You are actually responsive to their needs. So when because of the work you are in Parliament, you are taken away from them, they know that when you come back, you make it up to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also that even though you may be away, you have teams on the ground that are responding to the everyday needs of the people and addressing problems.
Okay.
And so you are not completely detached.
So you think eventually we'll get to a place where the Public Account Committee hearing will not just be some lip service, talk shop, and all of that, that there will be a lot of, good that will come out of it.
Yes, look, for instance.
Because beyond the public shame that some of them come and sit down and we now know, we don't know what really happens afterwards.
There's a lot of refund. A lot of refund. For instance, this is the Bank of Ghana performance audit, which we interrogated last week. Have you heard of the audit report, the post-audit report by the Auditor General for all the COVID-19 expenditures?
No, I haven't.
Okay, this is the COVID-19 expenditure audit from March 2020 to June 2022. If you go to page 21 of the paragraph 73, this country gave as much as 147 million to the UNICEF.
This country?
Yes.
To UNICEF?
To give us COVID-19 drugs. They provided some. What became outstanding, the auditors found, was 81.8 million Ghana cedis, dollars.
So will the money be refunded?
As we speak, UNICEF has not refunded the money. Neither have they supplied the COVID-19 drugs.
But we don't need the drugs anymore, do we?
No. That is why people like me,
But does it explain why?
No. That is why people like, the minister, that's Ajwamen, who came to say some things in Parliament, which was neither here nor there.
So this is different from the one we were buying from the Arabs that also had the challenge?
Yes! This is, let me read, page 76. We noted that the Ministry of Health, on behalf of Government of Ghana, paid an amount of $120 million to UNICEF /AVAT for the supply of 60 million vaccines under the agreement. However, 5.1 million doses of vaccines valued at $38 million were supplied to the National Cold Room, resulting in an outstanding amount of $81.8 million with UNICEF and AVAT. As we speak, that money has not been refunded by UNICEF. That is why people like me, I don't attend any program organized by UNICEF. Because I cannot fathom why UNICEF will take our money with the intention, it was an agreement with the intention of supplying us COVID-19 drugs. They are unable to supply the entire drugs, yet are keeping the rest of the money.
What would it take for us to get the money back?
We've organized a couple of press conferences, and nothing has come out of it. So we need to call some of these multinational agencies also to order. Not only our people who engage in public malfeasance, but a multinational agency like UNICEF cannot defraud us this way. It's unacceptable. And this report is dated 30th December 2022.
Wow.
UNICEF is keeping $81 million. Every day they say, they are doing programs for our children. UNICEF.
Well, I'm sure Parliament would attempt to...
What will Parliament do about this? What should Parliament do about this?
We can summon the minister, ask more questions.
We've summoned the minister several times.
Wow.
It is the government that must ask for its money. If I mean the government, it's the executive. They pay the money. They must ask for a refund from the UN, from the UNICEF headquarters. It's unbelievable. And then they will be running around claiming that they are doing programs to alleviate poverty. It's sickening.
Yeah, I can imagine the frustration.
It's unacceptable that multinational agencies will do this.
Yeah. Anyway, Honorable, we've got a few minutes to wrap up, but what are your thoughts on... They say the NDC wants to make Dumsor a campaign message, and so there is no Dumsor, but you say there is Dumsor. Is that the case? Are you trying to make it a campaign issue?
You see, let me say this. I'll say two things. One in Ewe, one in English. They mean the same thing. The game is over, but the score is remembered. In other words, Shamiamuleba Kakabi Topankuleji. You see, the people who made Dumsor a campaign message today are afraid of Dumsor being a campaign topic.
You say there's no Dumsor.
Why? I am not saying, nobody is saying there is Dumsor.
Okay.
It is the nature in which the lights are flicking off and on. Why? You think that in NDC when GM was in power, we could have said that there was no Dumsor. We could have said so conveniently. But the reality was that we had instability in supply of power. All right.
Yeah.
So to the extent that it was harped, so much so that Dumsor found its way into Wikipedia. You are aware?
I am aware.
Yes. Today, if you Google Dumsor, Google is able to tell you what it meant or it means in respect to Ghana. The people who did that are afraid of being measured to the same standards. In the same way, the people who said that Vincent Assis's communication that ministers should continue in office, should act, today are criticizing when you are even dismissing ministers before asking them to act. So it's the hypocrisy, lack of principles. It's part of the problems we have.
Okay.
Total lack of principles. Haven't you seen that the president now, the small reshuffles is done subsequently, is done the right thing? Moving sticker from deputy trade to finance. Didn't you see that he did the right thing? Did they fire him before sending him to finance? When you talk, people say you talk too much. But we talk to make sure the right things are done. They fired DCEs and quoted a non-existent law. Go and check that letter. The president fired about 20 DCEs in February. Go and pull that letter and see the law. They quoted Local Government Act 2014. There's no such law in this country. I raised it. I told them that the appropriate law is Local Governance Act 2016. Subsequently, 3 weeks ago, when Obiama fired 2 DCEs, he quoted the right law. Local Governance Act 2016, Section 20.
You are doing your job. Posterity will remember you. Thank you very much, Honorable.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. My name is Daniel Ojo. This has been another edition of The Lowdown on GhanaWeb TV. I hope you had a wonderful time and some enlightenment as far as constitutional matters are concerned and other matters of this country. We're back another time with another edition of the show. Until then, it's bye for now.